Easy guys, Careless here, and today let's talk about episode 83, the Universe 7 representing team. Who are the strongest 10? And I don't know why I've got my headset on, I just realised I'm still wearing it. Let's take that off. Ugh. Whoops. So yeah, the episode starts off pretty chill. The Zen exhibition has ended, and Goku, Beerus, Whis, and the whole team teleported back to Capsule Corp. I presume it's Capsule Corp. What's going on there is that Vegeta is really tense. Almost should have given birth by now, or at least that's the impression that's been given throughout the last couple episodes. And so she's taken over the training room, and he's let her. Now, if this doesn't show character growth, I don't know what does, because quite frankly, Vegeta doesn't give up anything. Although we've seen over the course of Super how much he's willing to bend for Bulma. We see that more throughout this episode. Because as Goku and Gohan are discussing who are the best people to take, they obviously mention Vegeta is the natural choice, right? Vegeta just flat out refuses. Even when Beerus is like, you will do this, or there will be a problem, he's like, I won't. I won't even budge an inch unless you can convince Bulma otherwise. Which shows how much he cares about her opinion. Now, Beerus backs down for like the second time. This is the first time was to Goku and now to Vegeta. So either his character has taken a huge shift, or they're stronger. They're just much stronger, and they don't need to listen to him anymore. Anyway, Whis takes this into his... Whis takes over and is like, I'll deal with this. Goes and speaks to Bulma and does some weird, I guess, angel god magic. And just pops the baby out of nowhere. Just literally, boom, baby born, GG. No worries. I mean, even Bulma's like, bloody hell, that was easy. I'll get you involved next time, thank you very much. Which means maybe we might get a third half Saiyan? Who knows? I mean... Up till now, and with obviously the end of Z, that the kids as we see it are what we know. So we now have all the Half Saiyan children as per canon to the end of Z. They're here now, so that's great. So they move on from there, and they move on to discuss who they want to bring along. And naturally, the conversation goes to Krillin and Master Roshi, because they want tactics and they don't want just who's got the biggest muscles. Obviously, they bring up Goten and Trunks, and that was swiftly put to one side. They have this whole mind image thing, which we've seen them do before, but we've seen them do it more as a training exercise against each other. We've never really seen them do it as a way to gauge how strong a teammate is. So I'm really confused by this, and if anyone's got a really good understanding of what actually was going on, please leave it down in the comments. I'm really interested to know what you think was going on there. Gohan is obviously concerned that Krillin hasn't got what it takes to defeat Basil, and Basil not being the least of the strongest of all the fighters he's likely to come across. Goku quickly is just like, nah, this isn't an issue. He'll be fine. He's learning new technique. As everyone is starting to get introduced to Bulla, as that's what she has now been named, so that is now the canon name for the English, for the Japanese, for the Japanese translation. You can see that how much Vegeta has actually grown as a character, especially when it comes to being a father. Throughout most of Z, we saw that he kept Trunks at a distance. And yet, however, all throughout the pregnancy of Bulla, he's been completely different. He's been a real father. Now, as somebody who's been an expectant father, I can tell you it's a really difficult position to be in. You want to do everything you can, but you have no idea what the other person is going through. And I feel like they really showed that pretty damn well throughout this episode. That he kept his distance, but was always there if he was needed. And that's kind of what us guys kind of just do. So I really felt that this was, again, very, very good way of showing what it's like to be an expectant father. And they didn't just brush over it or put it to one side. It really come to the forefront of this episode. you could tell so much so is when he started to think about a real, like a true Saiyan name for his daughter. Obviously, that doesn't go according to plan. Bulma does step in and say she's already thought of a name. And again, Vegeta backs down and says that Buller is a fantastic name. On a side note, when they're talking about who to be for the team, they do. Shin is asked how many planets out there that have life, which is very interesting because I just presumed, and maybe the Z-Van base knew better than I did. But there was a lot, but actually he says there's only 28, which is a drastically small number compared to what I was expecting for a universe. Maybe this is just to bring down, to make the multiverse smaller, so it's a more manageable number, who knows. But Shin has been known to be wrong in the past, so maybe it's another one of those things. Or maybe it's just a retcon. We'll see what happens as the story progresses. Up until this point, they've only really mentioned about 9 people. Yeah, they've said that there's 9 that they can think of. So I'm wondering who the 10th person is. I mean, the obvious ones is Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Majin Buu, Master Roshi, Krillin, Piccolo. Oh, no, they didn't mention Piccolo, did they? Android 17 and Android 18, which brings them up to like 8, plus Piccolo, which brings them up to 9. So I'm wondering if there's going to be a story arc that involves Tien and why they should bring him along. Who knows? There is a bit of a gag throughout the episode. Well, I say throughout the episode, for a chunk of it, that does imply that Yamcha might be involved, but I really don't think that's a thing. I feel that's just like a haha, like Yamcha would ever get picked. It's just a running gag now. Although, to be honest, I didn't really need. Now, Goku does bring up maybe suggesting they take Monaka along, but Beerus quickly shuts this down. And Whis does mention that maybe he should tell him the truth. Unfortunately, Beerus makes it clear that that will never happen. So going forward, we now know who 9 of at least the 10 are. I mean, as far as the story goes, we've obviously known for quite some time who they're going to be. So, and that basically concludes the episode. So, I'll tell you what, this wasn't an action-packed episode, this wasn't all fighting or dancing, but this really was quite an emotional episode, and I have to be honest, it was nice to see that growth. Okay, they did it in some humour, and they did it in a very Dragon Ball way, but it really was nice to see them slow down for a second and really, like, grow as characters, especially Vegeta, whom I'm loving more and more throughout Super. Now, obviously, that's where the episode ends, and we do get a little teaser for next week's episode, which mostly shows Gohan fighting Krillin. Now, it does look like they're all fighting in base form, which is probably that they're still concerned Krillin doesn't have what it takes, but it does end on a cliffhanger with Krillin fighting Super Saiyan Blue Goku, which is crazy. If he can hold up his own against, Blueku, Super Saiyan Blue, then he has a real chance of actually being something viable throughout the tournament. I'm excited to see how this fight goes. I really am. Krillin is my boy, and I really don't think he gets the representation he deserves throughout Dragon Ball Z, and hopefully Super is going to rectify that. And that's where it ends. I'm really interested to know what you think. Does Krillin have what it takes to fight on par, or even win against Super Saiyan Blue Goku? Of course, leave your comments down below. Until next time, I'm Careless. Peace.